Welcome to the latest edition of the 1Q Sports Interview, where we ask some of the best and the brightest in the partnership world one question based on their expertise. Today, I have the honor and pleasure of having my good friend and former colleague Adam Behnke on. He's currently COO of the DC Pickleball team within Major League Pickleball and is helping launch that organization from scratch, as well as previous stops alongside myself at Queensboro FC. Loudoun United within the DC United organization, as well as the New York Yankees, which is where we initially met. So, Adam, question for you. You have a rich history in launching professional organizations from scratch. So this will be your third time doing it after building Loudoun United from the ground up, Queensboro FC from the ground up, and now DC Pickleball team. So if you could, I'd love for you to talk about the process that comes to trying to sell partnerships for a brand new property, no history, no metrics to speak of in the past. If you could talk a little bit about that experience and your keys to success. Thanks so much. Looking forward to your answer.
PJ, thanks for the great intro. Hey everybody, Adam Behnke here with DC Pickleball team. Excited today to share with you some takeaways from my experience over the last few years selling sponsorship within brand new sports teams and leagues from ground up. So just this last year, we launched DC Pickleball team. It's been great to be building this new brand and pickleball team in a budding sports league called Major League Pickleball. Some of the key things that we found over the course of this year and building out our initial sponsorship portfolio certainly have a lot of similarities to what it was like in selling in the soccer space, but also have some differences given that it is brand new. It doesn't really have the 10 years behind it that the USL did when we were selling within the Loudoun United space in the Queensboro FC space. So let's start with one thing. Very important, simple, basic information that you have to share with your brand partners is who you are, what your vision is, and where you're going, how you're going to get there. It's all about aligning with your brand partners on what that vision is and really getting on the same side of the table together so that you all feel like you have, skin in the game and building this thing from ground up. And then next, let's look at our assets that we have to sell from a brand perspective. Do we have stadium signage in a brand new startup league like Major League Pickleball? Probably not. We don't have a home facility yet. You're playing on the road. We're touring around like you would see in the PLL. So we don't have a stadium naming rights opportunity like many others would that have a venue to start out of. Okay, so then what's our next key asset? From our perspective, given that we are so brand new, it's really great and a cool opportunity to have such a blank canvas. We looked at our success in the soccer space and saw that the front of jersey sponsor asset was such a key asset to sell when looking at your overall potential list of assets to go to market with. So we keyed on that to start. That's where we built our entire kind of initial pitch to the market around. And so from front of jersey to then sleeve of jersey to back of jersey, you started to come around to these iterations of what you could and could not put into partnership pitches. So as we got our heads around that and went to market with it, it's like, what else is going to go along in those packages? We then started looking at our community and marketing plan so that we could help build and create value in ways that you wouldn't just have built in otherwise, and you have a venue and you have a home and you have a team that has a site there in your home market. So we took it upon ourselves to spend a lot of time in the DC community, building out community events, whether it was that going to University of Maryland, local colleges, local elementary schools, going to our local courts and playing with our local players, bringing in our pro athletes to host some camps and clinics or play with the pro opportunities, to doing some really huge events with one of our partners, Humana, at the end of the year there to really drive value toward not only our partners, but also for the team as well to grow our brand. So those are a few things to start. And now, we look at how we measure the success of these things. Of course, in traditional sports, you have a lot of information, key metrics, data that you can use to back all of the findings throughout the year to support the spend and the valuations of what are going on into each and every one of those assets. With something like this, starting from the ground up, you have to have alignment from your brand partners on, one, what that valuation of their assets are, but also alignment on how you're going to get there and really drive the KPIs that they are looking for. And to do that, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to say, hey, look, we tried this campaign where we went on social media and did XYZ thing, and we didn't find success on it. Now, I know that might be in the contract that we have to do XYZ thing, but let's create something different. Let's try something new. Let's edit our approach and try to do better. And fortunately, that's what we found with all of our partners this year is like we've been able to trial, A/B test, and go through different exercises together to drive them the most value. And that's what overall, like the philosophy that I found most successful in brand partnerships is really being collaborative across the board, having an open line of communication all times, and just driving conversation on a regular basis to be able to align on what works and what doesn't, and not being afraid to fail and not being afraid to iterate as you go to make sure that you're meeting the expectations and exceeding those for not only yourself as your team and your brand, but yourself as the team brand, but also your brand partners. So far so good with all of our sponsors this year. It's been a great success. We were able to secure some really cool opportunities in our market because of these relationships that we've had. One of them being looking at some community events next year with our brand partners AARP right here on the front of the jersey, which is a really cool thing to have. First ever in Major League Pickleball to represent this, and now it's set kind of the standard for the rest of our teams in our league. Lastly, I'll say you also have so much flexibility that you can almost look beyond these conventional assets. You see the front of jersey in soccer a lot. You see a lot of now patches that are happening across other sports leagues as well. We've taken that playbook, that page out of that playbook and done it here with Stella Blue on our sleeve of our jersey. But we also look at assets that are unique to us. What is so fun about pickleball? What is so fun about pickleball is that it is such an engaging sport that we can go and look at some of the assets that are just unique to us. You don't see partners in baseball putting their brand on a Major League Baseball or a bat or anything like that. But in pickleball, we can get creative and partner with some great brands to create custom paddles. So for example, one of our partners here, Humana, amazing opportunity at the National Mall of Pickleball to host this huge event in the community, drive toward our ethos of inclusion and health and wellness all around pickleball, and give something back to them that adds value by way of paddle. You know, this is something that you can have on your shelf as a collector's item, or you can bring it out to the courts and play. So it's unlike any other sport where we can get super creative, be flexible, and drive value and create assets that may otherwise not exist in other people's portfolios. One last thing, Stella Blue Coffee. We love our merchandise. We were looking at our team kind of warm-up jackets for the sideline and wanted to get creative. So we decided to throw Stella Blue on the back of these warm-ups. Really cool pieces of merchandise that we wear on the sidelines. Another piece of value added to the overall relationship that wasn't originally in the agreement, but as we started going through the year and looking at what was working and what wasn't, we decided, you know, let's try this and see what happens. So we've had some great brand impressions on that through social media channels, retweets here and there, people talking about it at the sites, and again, just helping us gather more and more information on what works, what doesn't, and ultimately leading to success for all of our brand partners, the team, and the league as a whole. So those are a few things that I've learned over the last few years and are still, getting into as we work our way to the second campaign of DC Pickleball Team in 2024. Hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you all succeed in whatever ventures you may have in the sports industry as well.